Good afternoon, Eddie.
Good afternoon. Good to see you.
Good to see you, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of the In Control webinar. I actually think this is our most interesting and somewhat intriguing topic today. We are speaking about the sponsors and exhibitors' experience and perceived success at different kinds of events, be it conferences, be it fairs, be it internal events. But before we jump into that, Eddie, how are you? What have you been doing for the past few weeks since we have not been in front of these cameras?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for asking. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. And yeah, last week especially was really interesting for us for our Run Events team. We're attending and exhibiting at International Confex in London. This is the place where yeah, the entire event industry meets. So we had perfect talks, we had a chance to interact with the other event organizers, so that was really great experience for us.
That's cool. I completely share your opinion. It was fun. We met really good people. We got to tell the stories. We got to hear the stories, and that's why those events are there. We were exhibitors at this event.
Hmm.
Before I and before I invite our guest to this to this episode, I'm going to tell to the viewers something that two of us have been discussing a few days ago, is that we had 7 different systems to log into as sponsors and exhibitors at this event. Given two of those were for me as a speaker, but still we had seven usernames, seven passwords to manage our presence and our experience in London for the international complex. That said, I'm Anto. Could you please put the spotlight on our guest for today? I'm welcoming Brett Lonsdale, founder and CEO of Lightning Tools. Lightning Tools is a tech company. Brett is going to tell you more about what Lightning Tools are and what they are doing. But in this case, Eddie and me especially wanted to talk to Brett because the Lightning Tools is exhibiting at large tech events for the past 17 years. In preparation for this talk, I said almost 20, and Brett rolled his eyes, so I'm keeping it at 17. It sounds better. That sounds better than 20. Brett, welcome.
Thank you very much. Yeah, the 20 was just showing my age just a little bit too much. So yeah, we'll stick to the 17
that's
for
your
that
hairs.
reason.
That's your hairs more than more than that age.
Yeah, the hair definitely gives it away, that's for sure. Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much, Alice and Adita, for inviting me on your show. I really appreciate that. I'm really looking forward to telling you a bit about our experience of exhibiting at different events throughout the Microsoft 365 industry, and I guess prior to that, mostly the SharePoint industry, which is all we had when we started out. I guess just a bit about Lightning Tools, so you know who we are as a company. First of all, Lightning Tools, as you said, we started the company 17 years ago. Prior to that, I was an instructor teaching Microsoft SharePoint developer classes and administration and end user classes. And what I tended to find was people attending those classes would come back with the same questions week in, week out, like how do we better manage permissions? How do we aggregate content across different site collections and so on and so forth? And after a short while, I thought, well, you know what? Why not start creating some of these tools? And that's what we did. We started Lightning Tools as a company, building some products. Originally, it was around business connectivity services. If anybody else is old enough to know that, in fact, BDC, even better, business data catalog, that predates it. So we built some tools around that, and then started adding additional products to our portfolio. But basically, as an organization, we tend to recognize different gaps inside of the SharePoint product or teams. And that's nothing detrimental against SharePoint. Every software platform has things that people wish it would do better. But fortunately, Microsoft created an ecosystem around the fact that people can create and publish products that can be sold through app stores and things like that. So that's exactly what we do. We build those products, and people can take advantage of those, become more efficient inside of SharePoint, and
So Brett, we'll let our viewers to take a deep breath, because they have probably heard like 170 new words which I have never heard before, including SharePoint, business connectivity services, and all the other.
So let's stick to Lightning Tools. There were tools on the market which you have to sell later, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Our point here is they're a really good tech company. They know what they are doing. They are very successful in the market. Brett as a CEO is doing a great job. They are really spread over three continents, over three countries, three different countries, being in Armenia, being in United States, and of course in their headquarters in UK. And one of the things, Brett, is that's really characteristic for Lightning Tools is from the very beginning, you have recognized the power of showing and exhibiting your products to your potential audience at the events. Can you tell us a bit more? How did that start?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a really, really important subject to make sure that you are attending events or sponsoring events, as well as looking at online marketing as well. What you don't get from the online marketing is that networking capability and the engaging with attendees as well. You don't get to put a face to the name. And I would say that the success of Lightning Tools very much has been born with different events. Attending my very first Tech Ed, that was actually as an attendee, not as an exhibitor, but as an exhibitor, I first attended a conference. It was known as the Best Practice Conference. It was in North America, and there was so many people that I had heard of but had never met, and just from that one event alone, being able to meet and greet them, to learn exactly what they're doing and to build that relationship has been the foundation for consultants and other organizations also recommending our products to their customer base as well. So yeah, that's been a critical step in our journey so far, I would say.
So Eddie, we have been now in London at the international conference. We have seen so many different exhibitors, different people there, taking very, very different strategies to their presence at the international conference. We speak, I think this was close to 400 exhibitors on that fair that we have been. What were your impressions from London, from seeing all of that? And they are all from the event industry. They are all from different perspectives in the event industry. And I'm really, a point where I had to smile a bit is when I saw the people exhibiting there who were selling soaps for events. Eddie, what was your impression from all of that?
I would say, yeah, of course, that was the very big event. I mean, event organizer can look for whatever is needed. So we must have different type of exhibitors, right? But I was thinking a lot about the attendees who are, checking the exhibition, and how easy for them is to find the proper solution, proper software, proper product they are looking for. And in the same thing, I thought about us as sponsors, how to be different, how to find the people who really want to find a specific solution we are offering. So those are my thoughts. And when I think about this, I would love to ask you, Brett, when you were starting with lightning tools, um, how were your first steps as sponsor to attract the audience, to really see, who is a potential lead or who is just somebody who wants to grab some swag? How you were starting and how you were mastering this part later over the years.
Yeah, fantastic. So going back to that very first conference that I mentioned, I hadn't really experienced exhibiting myself at an event at all. And when I look back and see photos of that, they keep popping up on my Facebook every year. the very first time that Lightning Tools was exhibiting at the Best Practice Conference. And when I look at that, it's one of those memories where you wish it would just go away. So we had a very typical booth of a small event. We had a couple of roller banners with some of our products on there. Of course, graphics have come a long way now and so on, but the graphics that we chose at the time weren't all that fantastic. We had a tablecloth with our logo on it, and we were, I think the worst part about it was we were projecting. We weren't using a TV because there wasn't really, the flat panel LED screens that we have today and so on. I'm not that old. They did exist, but it wasn't something that was freely available for exhibiting. So we were projecting, and of course we were getting in the way of the projector and things like that when we were trying to show our software. So yeah, we've learned a lot over the years, and looking at things like swag, how we're going to demo the product, how we're going to attract people to the booth. That has been a real learning curve, and you do learn quickly as to what's going to work and what's not going to work. And I think one of the key challenges is, a lot of people are just there for the swag. There's been some events, especially in North America, where they tend to open the doors to the general public in certain hours, and almost you have to hide the swag because you're just going to be giving it away, and there's going to be no benefit whatsoever to us as a company. But what we've learned to do is actually kind of have two levels of swag as well. The things that you really don't care about, giving away. And for that, we're a software tools company, so we tend to try and link the swag in somehow. So we have things like bottle openers, and we've had little screwdrivers in the past, and so on, that are all branded, and they're pretty low cost items. It's not an issue if you're not going to get a sale out of this person or even a lead. It's just take it, enjoy it, do whatever you want to do with it. And then we have some premium swag as well, which is actually for some great conversations. And I think somewhere on your desk there, Addis, is a notebook. But yes, just a nice notebook and a pen. Or
you had very good talks.
Yeah. But this is also key. Is something that is going to be useful. I've seen from a lot of different events. Do you remember the rubber ducks, for example? Every single vendor tended to be giving away rubber ducks, and it's like, okay, these things are just going to clutter up my house and end up in the landfill somewhere. So what we tend to do is try to create something that is sustainable, but also useful as well. And it's amazing how many times people have come up to us and said, "Oh, yeah, you're the company that gives away those screwdrivers," because it's just like a little mini screwdriver set. And he said, I broke my glasses once, and I remembered I had your screwdriver in my laptop case, and I've managed to fix my glasses. So yeah, it's great when you hear little stories like that.
May I have a smaller relation to make? That's
of course
screwdrivers of yours. They're also the keychain.
That's correct.
Keychains. I still have it on my key set.
There you go. You see, it's useful. Fantastic. So swag certainly it's important, but it's expensive as well. Often with these, there's a minimal order, so you don't just want to burn through it. But yeah, there's the premium swag. I think that's a nice gesture, and it's not going to change somebody's mind as to whether they're interested in your product at all. But I think it's a nice gesture to give something away. They'll remember you. They've got the notepad on the desk, and it might just be that gentle reminder in 6 months' time to reach out to us again and speak about the product if there was something of interest, of course.
So let me reverse the question from a perspective of event organizers. I find myself a few times a year. My goal or my aim is to bring attendees, to bring people who are attending event to exhibitors and sponsors, because this is how we increase the value. How we increase the value for the sponsors, but also how do we increase the value for the attendees themselves. One of the things we do in run events actually is to list your swag in the mobile app, so that the attendees will know, hey, this gray guy, the guy with the gray hairs in the blue shirt, they actually do have these notebooks, and they are giving those screwdrivers. So they might come on your way. Obviously, a lot of them will be just asking, hey, Mr. Guy with the gray hair, can I get a screwdriver? But with some of them, you are probably going to start some kind of conversation. Can you tell us, and I'm really interested in asking that both from the run events perspective side and also as an event organizer, which is having Lightning tools as one of the exhibitors for the past 8 or 9 years, I think, in the meantime, or even longer. How much is that worthy for you, that we basically try to send you all the people at your booth, actively knowing that some of them will probably be interesting for you, but that a lot of them will just go to your booth just to come for the screwdriver?
Yeah, I think again this is a great question, and you've obviously given this a lot of thought and designed it really well in run events, how this can work. If I just take it back to something that I feel that doesn't work that is similar, first of all, just as a contrast, there's a lot of events where they may have cards where you stamp the logo or something along those lines. Now, the problem with that is you can be in a deep conversation with somebody that is genuinely interested in what you have to offer, and then somebody's putting a card in front of your face and interrupting you to just get a stamp. and that can be enough to sort of break that conversation. And the problem is you stamp it and they They go away, and then you try to rescue a conversation that you were having, which was a really good one. But the problem is you don't know who that person was that came in, got the card stamped. You have no idea. You didn't have that opportunity to scan them or anything like that. Whereas I think what you do differently is, you're advertising the swag, you're getting people interested in what they can maybe get. They're coming up to the booth, and again, they may be interested in just the swag as a possibility. They may have no idea what Lightning Tools does or what any of the other vendors do, but we are capturing their details in order to give them the swag, and that is going into the Run Events app. It's going to the dashboard that you can see immediately. Now, it would be wrong of us to maybe consider, well, let's now try and sell something to that company. This is something that we don't do, but it is very useful when we get back to the office to start thinking, well, who was at that event? There was these people that we scanned. These people were qualified because they were interested in a product, and we used the Run Events app to qualify them. So maybe we used the notes feature to add the product that they were interested in, and we rated them as well using Run Events. But if they were just after the swag and that was it, then we can list them as such. But what we can then do is say, well, who from this event was SharePoint administrators, or who from this event was in IT, or who from this event is an end user, and what have we got to offer that persona from our product range? So maybe we can then utilize that information still as a follow-up to say, thank you for visiting us at such and such event. Now you're interested in just the swag, but this is what we have to offer. And you can target the product that is perhaps going to be most suitable to them based on their persona. So I think that's where what you're doing with the Run Events app and that gamification is really useful in comparison to just a card where you get no information at all.
Eddie, would you think it would be okay to make a small, and I'm doing this completely spontaneously, this was not prepared at all. I mean, the most of this conversation until now has not been prepared, but Brett has so much experience and knowledge about this, it's just enjoying to listen to him talk about this. Connected to what you have just said. At some point of time, you want to know the demographics of the people who were there, what's their persona, what they are doing, what's going on. We are now in the process of revamping the sponsors and exhibitors dashboard in Run Events. We do a lot of self-service around for the sponsors and exhibitors. Brett can be speaking about that, about our product, because he's the user of that part. But one thing we thought we might offer, and now I need really good feedback in the dashboard to show the anonymized data metrics and data points about the event audience even way before the event. So as the sponsors and exhibitors come back to the Run Event sponsors dashboard, to actually prepare to work on their tasks, to work on their to prepare for the lead generation, to enter their your giveaways and this kind of stuff. You will see, okay, now we are up to 1,500 attendees, and up to those. Let's take this particular event in account. Out of those 1,500 attendees, 100 of them work for Microsoft in those roles. 500 are from the Netherlands, or 150 are SharePoint administrators, etc., etc. Would this dashboard, of course completely anonymized, be valuable for you in the heads up of preparing the event? Because as an event organizer, you always got these questions per email. Hey, who is already at the event? And it's always like, okay, let's export the database, let's anonymize the database, let's send it to the exhibitors and the sponsors, which is all good and nice. But would this be helpful for you to have it at a glance whenever you would want to have that?
Yeah, I think that'd be really, really valuable ahead of. It may be a reason to sponsor the event if we could see that there's a certain percentage of the audience that is of a particular persona, and that aligns with our product offering. That would be really valuable. I mean, for us as a products company, but I could see how that could also fit into education companies and so on as well, because they're going to have courseware or videos or whatever that may be designed for a specific persona, and if the entire audience at your event is all technical, then it may not be a fit. It may not be the right audience for them. So yeah, I could see how that would be a great way of qualifying whether we actually attend the event or not. And certainly from an event organizer's perspective, it's going to be another tool that you can offer to attract the sponsors as well.
Okay, because this is something really that we are heavily. This is the idea that we are playing with heavily, and since the sponsor dashboard and the exhibitor dashboard is getting a huge visual revamp as we speak, this is we thought that this would be something that would offer an added value for all the exhibitors and all sponsors to know, okay, hey, we know where we are. But let's move a bit from the topic, because I mean, I think all three of us could talk about this like for ages. Eddie, you remember like the first day of Confex, person in charge, they came to our booth and asked us to pick up our booth location for the next year. Mind you, this year's event did not even start at that point of time. And we were like, since it was our first time at Confex,
so we didn't know what to expect, and
we don't know what to expect.
if we should commit or not for next year.
I honestly did not know. I mean, neither did you, neither did Elena or Mustafa. So, and we were like, let's talk tomorrow. So our colleague Elena went tomorrow to get this plan. We pick up our booth space, and guess what? At least 3/4 of all the place were already taken away. So we were all again just choosing from the last quarter of the remaining places. We have found a good location. It's not an issue, but I was surprised with the pace of things going there. From your perspective, and we had this conversation for everybody else who is now asking themselves why Alice and Brett go so long for so many years long. Brett Lighting Tools is exhibiting at the European Collaboration Summit since I think 2014. I think was the first year.
I think it's about right.
10 years. It's like 10 years now. And we had two of us had this conversation year after year. Hey, Brett, which booth position would you like to have? Which booth position are you going to take? What's your criteria? How are you choosing?
Yeah, first of all, I just want to add as well that is a great technique to get people to sign up in that way, because of course they've just had a great experience at the event, you would hope anyway, and I think that has always been the case with the ECS events. But one of the key things is you do get to choose at that moment where you want your booth to be. Now, again, in contrast, there's other events where you might sign up as a certain level of sponsorship, maybe silver, bronze, or what have you. And all you're doing at that point is signing up. And then at a later point, they round robin based on the order in which you signed up for you to choose the location that you want. Now, you have no idea when you're committing that budget to the event, whether you were first in line or 50th in line.
Yep.
And then when you're 50th in line, it's like, I'm really choosing from the worst options. What's the best of the worst, really, in this scenario. But I think it's great to be able to see that plan and have that organized so we can selectively choose where we would most like to be. And I think typically what we're looking for when we're choosing a booth location, of course, that depends on the level that you're sponsoring as well. If we're going for a premium sponsorship, then ideally we're looking for something that's going to be close by a natural attraction in that booth. It could be a stage. It could also be the catering or something like that, where people are most likely to linger. It may also be another consideration is you're the first thing that people see when you walk through the door. So what are the entrances, and are we going to have a prominence location for people to see as they do walk in? So I think those are the considerations that we would make. Ideally, we would always go for sort of the center stage and try to be as close to that as we possibly can. I think if that's not an option, maybe if we're a lower level of sponsor, then yeah, as near to the main doors as we possibly can, or near to the catering. I think those are the key things. It's also useful to be able to see who else is sponsoring as well, because you don't necessarily want to be next to somebody that is your direct competitor, or it might also be that you want to be next to somebody that is a partner of yours as well. So yeah, there's those considerations too to make when we're looking at that.
So Anto, can I please ask you to share my screen? I'm going to now, if I'm able to use this tech. Entire screen, this one. So Anto, would you be able now to do, okay, right. So again, this is now me showing you something that we are publishing very soon with Run Events. For one, this is a tool for the event organizers to plan their expo. And as you see here, if this would be the center stage that you have been talking about, and if you have got a premium size booth, let's say this one, you can go and position this booth here and turn it around here. First of all, would this be for you better visualization of where your booth is going to be, rather than usually if you got like AutoCAD drawings and like, yeah, this is how it looks from the bird perspective, choose your spot?
100%. Absolutely. This would be incredible.
So one other thing we found in the conversation with the different event organizers, that it's actually really useful if you could, this is still a schematics, obviously, but if you could actually now turn this into real expo hall in the metaverse and go on and show to the sponsors, hey, Brett, this is actually how it looks like in the real life, and this is where you are going to be. So imagine this is now your booth, or this is the hall, and we can go around, and I can walk you to your booth if this will be it. Sorry. So this will be your 6x6 meters space. This is what the original positioning of that booth is, and this is your proximity to the other exhibitors and to the proximity to the hall entrance, which is then in this case on this side, or whatever happens. This is actually a really digitalized Rheingold-Halle in Mainz in Germany, which we are seeing here. Now imagine yourself as a buyer here. You are buying a sponsorship package including booth position. Would this be an advantage for your side?
Absolutely, it would. Yeah. It's a game changer. I mean, trying to actually, as you mentioned, from a diagram drawing or an AutoCAD drawing, you have no imagination on what it might be like. There's some events that might change their location as well. So if you're going to be repeating the event in the same city, then yeah, of course you could imagine, yeah, I might want to be over there next year. They had a better time. But if it's a different location, a different expo hall, and you would have a difficulty in actually building an image in your mind as to what that expo space is going to be looking like. And yeah, even looking at the PDF drawing for the event in Wiesbaden, I have memories of what it was like, so I can apply that. And in fact, we had this conversation just this morning in our office, talking about what that room is like. It had the high walls and so on, which I was describing that so other people could actually imagine it. But without that, it'd be difficult to actually really picture what it's going to look like when we're there. So yeah, that would be a real game changer. It'd be fantastic.
Okay, so now once you have chosen your spot, that's basically you're pretty much going to stick with that. Maybe there are some possibilities to change. Now we are coming to the ping pong between exhibitors, organizers, and the venue and booth builders. I will pass now to Edita because he's very often working with us on those things. I will just tell us some of the experiences in this famous triangle between exhibitors, organizers, and venue and booth builders, because they're very often coming from the same spot, from the same place there. Now, of course, I'm talking here for the case that you are using the official or suggested booth builder, that you are not bringing your own booth builder, which is often the case with the premium booths. And Edith, I know that you also had experience in that regard, working with the companies and with the exhibitors coming
Mm.
with their own booth builders, and with all the catch points and issues that you have with those.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I start thinking about this, I'm already like, my brain is exploding. But first of all, communication, communication, communication. As Brett said, especially when there is a new venue, it's hard to imagine the space and the furnitures and the entire equipment we are ordering to make sure that we don't have too much, but in the same time, not too less. Then trying to understand all the measures and all the graphics and how everything must be set it up to make it pretty. And yeah, the challenge with never ending conversations, never ending graphic representation. So it really consumes a lot of time, a lot of emails, and a lot of switching context. Um, and I'm heading to, I'm smiling now to Addis because I know that in run events, we really shorten this path. We are really improving the communication in a way that we all can see what we have promised or what we can offer, and then at least we can shorten this conflict, this never ending communication bottlenecks, to basically simplify the experience for organizers, for sponsors, and also for the partners with whom we cooperate.
Yeah, when Eddie has already pinged me up here, is it really is. I wouldn't even say that the communication is a problem there. I would say that miscommunication is a problem.
Exactly. So
Um,
missing communication. Yes, exactly. This is what I
in
have
this
meant.
in this exact venue that Brett was talking about only a few seconds ago, we had an exhibitor uh, who had a beautiful booth, a large booth as well, medium size, 3 times 3 meters, and with beautiful backdrop and everything, and no furniture. Literally no furniture, no
Nothing.
stools, no tables, no bar stools, no TV, no counter, nothing. Nobody of us has picked it up, because we had outsourced as event organizers the booth building process to the booth builders and to exhibitors themselves.
Mm.
And you can imagine shock on my face when I came that morning there. I was like, why are you guys sitting on the beer boxes? And they were literally sitting on the beer boxes. Of course, we managed to pull off the magic. I have asked the venue to somehow produce two bar tables and four bar stools, and to somehow get the electricity. There wasn't even electricity at booth, so we had somehow pulled the cable from the neighbor's booth, and neighbor's booth area perfectly fine. They can use our electricity, so nothing was an issue. But it was this one moment of stress. It was clearly
Mhm.
not our mistake, but however, it's our event.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
you don't want your exhibitors to be unsatisfied. I mean, you cannot just go with, I don't
Leave
care.
them alone. Yeah.
Leave them
Mhm.
alone. I don't care. So that particular moment was one of the things that we said, and Anto, I will again need you to show my screen now again.
Anto
Uh,
magician in the background.
Anto is our magician in the background. We love Anto. Anto is just great. So this is our. So once when you have chosen your spot, and in this case this is 6 meters times 3 meters booth. You as event organizer can say, okay, default configuration is one table and two chairs. But we are also
Mhm.
saying you, okay, this is the dimension of your graphics. So this is almost 6 meters, 6 meters wide, and almost 2.5 meters high. Of course, we all have those margins and stuff. Dear exhibitor, this is now part on you to start configuring this. And this is really not complicated. Whoever was doing, IKEA kitchen configurator, and I think a lot of people did. We're gonna, this is not a difficult thing to do. For example, we can start with the carpet color. We can go with the furniture, and I'm going to say, okay, let me add a counter here, and I'm going to move the counter. I'm going to rotate the counter. I'm going to see how that looks like from the perspective. Can I do this? And as Adita just said, how much furniture actually does fit here? If this counter would be possible to brand, for example, this one is not configured, you would also see the dimensions of branding for this counter. So let me just for fun add one more TV set, and let's say this is a 42 inch TV set, which is going to be there on the wall. And let
I
me
love the
add
proportions, that you really see the proportions, right?
Mhm.
exactly.
You really,
You see how much place is that all going to take. And let me add one more bar stool or bar table. Let's make this a bar table. We will have a catalog of this fully available, so organizers can choose what's. And the nicest thing of this, the exhibitors can visualize what they are going to do. They're going
Mhm.
to see which graphics they are going to send. Once their graphics are applied, they're immediately going to show here. So, for example, if you have a special graphics where you want to fit in this TV set as a part of the whole graphical design, you can easily do this. This is exactly what this is made for. And the nicest part is, on the end, you actually see how much this is going to cost you, and
Mhm.
what are your booth billing costs are. And when you are satisfied with what's going on, you can just submit this order to the booth builders or to the venue organizers. And this is one of the nicest way how to shorten down those communication paths that Edita was talking about. Eddie, what's your take on this? We were
I
talking about this for the past 6 months. I know that you have seen this
yeah.
million times in the past 6 months.
I'm waiting for that one, but when I'm looking at this, I'm even thinking about our convex sponsor booth last week and our findings after summarizing everything, and we figure out that we simply had too many different furnitures, and with such a functionality, with such a visualization, we would have been able to a little bit rearrange these furnitures, or at least replace them for the others, which were simply more suitable for our branding and for our booth flow. So I'm waiting
Brett,
for that one. I'm waiting for that one, Aris.
Brett, on your side, your thoughts on
Yeah,
this?
absolutely. One of the things I would say is, often this is outside of your control as well in terms of the cost of hiring such items. But there's some events, I think, especially in North America, where the cost is astronomical for stools or a table and so on. Like, you could buy that same stool 10 times over for the price that you're going to rent it for 2 days. So it's actually a real challenge to identify, well, what is it I want on the booth? Do I have space for it? Because I've got to get this right, because it's going to cost a lot of money in order to hire that. Or do I need to ship things in as well? So it may be that we're going away from the traditional booth setup with something custom, but you would still be able to get an idea from that 3D image of what the booth layout's going to be like, and you could of course use the dimensions that you've got, as well as position TVs and things like that as well. But yeah, from a pricing standpoint and planning it, I think that'd be really valuable, because you're not going to overcommit financially to things that you don't have space for, or anything like that. So yeah, that would be critical. Absolutely.
Cool. So it shows us we are not completely on the wrong path with doing this stuff.
Certainly
Uh,
not.
we've got 20 more minutes, but I would like to leave at least 10 minutes of those to just to finalizing the conversation and to the questions from our audience, if there are any. So I'm also asking our audience. You heard us. You heard Brett's perspective from the organizer, from the exhibitor perspective. You have heard Edita and my perspective as dual perspective, both as event organizers, but also the event tech providers. If you have any questions, if you have any comments. If you have any good ideas that we could all learn from, please write them in the chat, in the comments, in the LinkedIn, and we are, as you are writing it in the comments, Edita, Brett, and me are getting it as a chat messages, so we can immediately address them here in those last 20 minutes. The last one, but definitely not the least one, the lead retrieval itself. You just said a few minutes ago, Brett, for lunch, when 2,000 plus people enter that hall. We speak about TCS now, but it could be much more in different events. And when a lot of them are talking to the exhibitors, when they have time to talk to exhibitors, when they are not in sessions, when they are not in workshops, when they are not doing anything else, you really don't have time to write novels on the booth, especially when you have 3 or 4 more people waiting in the queue to talk to you, and you want to talk to all of them because they're your potential partners, your potential customers, or just somebody who is really interested in what you are doing. We have seen different combinations. We can see pre-configured lead forms, where for each form each lead you would basically need to fill in the form. We have just seen like basically text fields where everybody can type in things. I have seen tools which would allow you with the voice notes, where you would just say, okay, I have been just talking to Edita. She is interested in our product XY, and I need to follow up with her next Thursday, for example. But then again, voice notes are binary files which get at some point of time lost in the mass of the binary files. And hopefully somebody is going to listen to that. But if you have got like 100 people who talk to somebody, then basically needs to listen to 100 voice messages and to transcribe what has been written. And
the old school scanners. That's one person on the booth has, and then there is a rush on the booth.
Oh, we are not even. Thank you, Eddie, for this one.
Exactly what I was going to raise to.
Thank you, Eddie, for that. I actually erased those from my head, from my memory. I don't even want to think and talk of those.
I had to. I'm sorry.
This is good. I actually think I have got an old school hand scanner here, like, and then it doesn't work for some reason.
One per
and then you look totally stupid trying to scan someone doing these moves. Like, you are attacking someone.
Yes,
like you're attacking someone.
Plus one. So you have 5, 6 persons. Everybody is talking, and suddenly there is a kind of rush on the booth. Where is the scanner? Where did you place it? So crazy.
Right. Yeah. So, and I can tell you now, I'm coming back to Brett's comment about North American events, that if you want an extra scanner, the last time we have been asking for that, they asked us for 600 euros for an extra scanner. I need to say that device costs 20 to 30 euros. Okay. If you want to buy just the device. So this was a very interesting experience from us. I was with a Swiss company back then in 2017, 2018. Brett will know what I'm talking about. And I was like, okay, I'm not paying 600 euros for an extra scanner. This is not what we are spending money on. And but let's move it back to 2024. Let's not speak about 1984. Okay, 1994 with that one. And let's not even mention the people who still behave as 1994. We speak about modern tech. Let's say there's a modern tech implemented, and there is some kind of the lead retrieval mobile app which is working on the phones there. Given that can also be an issue, bad internet connectivity and stuff. But whoever was developing event tech know that there are ways how to circumvent bad connectivity. You can still be scanning those badges. You can still be leaving notes. At some point of time, when you get to internet, that's going to get synced with the database and say, hey, this really, really cool conversation with this gray-haired man. His name is actually Brett Lonsdale. So those are things that are happening. But then again, I'm speaking about techniques of taking notes during the lead retrieval place. And there are a few options. One is just a text box and you write the notes. One is pre-creating tags or labels or whatever we call. So you just basically When you retrieve lead, then you get the present with the list of your own labels which you pre-created, and you say, "Hey, Lightning Tools, this is like a deliver point potential partner." So you basically have 2 clicks, and you know that the person that you are talking to you right now is a potential partner for deliver point. Or is it voice notes? Or is it really creating custom forms where you would need to fill in the form for each lead? What's your experience with that?
Yeah, so I think I've experienced every single one of those, and yeah, if we go back to the handheld scanners, I completely agree with Aditya. It's impersonal where you're scanning them, like so you don't really capture who they are until way after the event. In which case it's gone from your memory. You just know that you scanned someone. You can maybe picture a face, but you scanned 100 people or 200 people. So that's a challenge, being able to recognize who is who. So yeah, we've experienced that. And we've experienced the cost involved in them. And when you're paying $20,000 or whatever for an exhibitor space in North America, and then you're told it's another $300 or $600 for a scanner, so you might stretch to one, and then you're again experiencing that challenge of who's got the scanner, and you can see somebody's got it and they're in deep conversation, it's wrapped around their wrist,
At the wrist,
you
not
can't go
working.
get it. yeah, it's a real tough challenge. And yeah, you could use that usually to qualify them, because typically you would get an A4 sheet with some barcodes, and you could write against those barcodes what each scan would mean. And try to qualify them that way. But again, it's kind of impersonal, and you can't picture that person after the event. You've just spoken to too many people. So yeah, with the app and with the dashboard, the sponsor dashboard, what I love is the fact that you can see all of the information immediately. So if you get a moment straight away, you're not having to wait until after the event. You can see who you scanned. Again, you can see the industry they're working in. You can rate them. You can capture the notes against that person. And even if you use something shorthand like DP for deliver point or LC for lightning conductor or something like that, you're qualifying it. And that way you can split that up into your campaigns once you get back to the office, and you can spend the time, applying your follow-ups in an organized fashion, as opposed to just going through a list of people that you have no idea who they were. Because maybe you didn't capture that information. So yeah, that is again a game changer. Seeing that information in real time as soon as you've scanned them, being able to then maybe recognize what company they work for, and you can already plan your conversation with them. And if it's somebody that you really want to talk to, they're still there at the event maybe for the next day or two, so you could reach out to them on LinkedIn, find them, organize a coffee or something like that, and actually make the most of that time while you're there. That's just something you don't have the ability to do if you're not going to get that list until after the event. And sometimes it's 3 or 4 days, and that there's 40 other exhibitors are going to get that information, and those people are going to be bombarded 3 days later.
Yeah.
I'm again going to ask Ant, oh, he's faster than I am. So this is this was Eddie's and mine demo. This is Run Events mobile app. Run Events got one mobile app, which is also attendee mobile app, but also sponsors and exhibitors mobile app. It changed a bit on navigation and on the look and feel in the mobile. So basically, you start with scanning leads. Once when you scan leads, this is me scanning Edita. This is her tagline. We know that she's from Poland. I rated her 4, or somebody else rated her 4. I'm just completely going to rate her 5 now, and to update this lead rating for Edita. And this is my note about Eddie. And this is even, I see, now remember the gamification part we were talking about, that she can got our branded socks in the Hopkins Bowl. And I'm also going to hand out Edita our reusable cork coffee cup.
Thank you.
Nice. You see, this is where we speak about premium brands. But this is one thing that I want. So I can say, hey, for her, I know that she was interested in migration manager, and that she is a potential partner for migration manager. So now when I update this, I immediately know I can also leave the note, but I can not even 2 clicks, 2 moves of a thumb, I can remember what I was talking to Edita about. I can remember her face because I see her profile photo. And during the event, as you said, you can immediately start with LinkedIn. There's even no need for that. I can start chatting with Adita right now. Hey, should we meet for a coffee later to discuss potential partnership, whatever? This is this easy. You are within the event. You are within the same. You are within the same environment. You are within the same context. You are within your app. You see all your leads which you have scanned as sponsor, but not only you. You see all the leads that all your colleagues have scanned. So you see here that there are different people scanning those leads. This Edita was scanned by Amalia. Nick Olsen was scanned by the other guy, etc., etc. You see who has had conversation with which lead here, and it's very easy then to open those leads that you gathered, to update the information you got, if you have got an extra info or whatever, and to see how your communication with that lead was proceeding. What Brett mentioned before, all of that can easily later be downloaded from the dashboard. And if I go here to the leads, and if I find Edita here, I think she was there, right, in the leads. If I find Edita here, I'm again seeing that she's a potential partner for Migration Manager, but here in the web interface, I see all the other information which I, as a sponsor or exhibitors, am allowed to see. And given registration forms are always on the organizer side. What Run Events is allowing is basically for the organizers, when they create those registration forms, to set which fields are going to be visible for the sponsors and for the sponsors and exhibitors, because it's very much if I see here that we have a job position, attendee country, industries. This is something that organizers are definitely interested in. But there are also fields like dietary preferences or whatever, which sponsors, exhibitors should never be able to see. But you, as an organizers, need to know them in order to organize your catering. So one nice thing what Run Events actually does here is, if you have registration form with 15 fields, and you can say you should never have a registration form with 15 fields. Please contain it to maximum 5. But I was just saying 15. Now, if you have got a registration form with 5 fields, and 2 of those, like let's say t-shirt size for the official t-shirt, and dietary preferences are interesting and important only for the organizers, you can easily just say they are not visible for the sponsors. But those other 3 fields, company, country, job role, position, yeah, please, this is something what the sponsors and exhibitors should always be getting for the leads which they scan and which they get. Eddie, your take on this?
Simply perfect. No more switching the context. And with the mobile app, I answered you, but you haven't seen, by the way. The mobile app, I mean, when we used this mobile app for my local event in Poland, people were really impressed about the mobile app itself. And of course, the sponsor part, this is something what I love a lot. As Brett said, you can even wrap up the day 1 of the conference, discuss who was the best. As you said, we can simply arrange a meeting and then starting to continue day after. As simple as that.
Yep. Absolutely.
So, Anto, I think I'm not being set as an administrator here, so I cannot do the public comments. And we have a comment from Dusan asking, "Hi, can the organizer write down the name of the app again, please, and tell us if it's available online?" The system we are showing here and we are using is called Run Events, run.events, and you can easily find it. And I have no access to this chat. This is completely crazy. So I don't know, Anto, if you can just write down in the chat run.events, HTTPS, obviously, just for the people that they can get the link. And yeah, Eddie and we are working for the company Run Events. We are making this system. It's available online. You can find all the information online, and you can even start creating profile online and playing around with that for free. We don't offer demo environments, because you can create a demo environment for yourself in few clicks, basically. Right. Right. We have 4 more minutes. I've got like 6 more questions here in the sheet, which I see on the screen right of me, but we have definitely no time to go through that. Brett, this was awesome. Thanks.
Thank you. I really appreciate you.
Mhm.
Being interested in my opinion on events.
Uh, we definitely are, because I know how many events have you been through. I know at how many events have you exhibited. I know that and we had this conversation before, what worked at your booths, what didn't work at your booths. Thank you, Dusan. And we also saw, and for example, you told me the other day you are never coming back with this racing car simulator
Yeah.
for your booths. Uh,
Well, I think I know that was one of the things that we were maybe going to be discussing about how you do attract people to the booth as well, and so on. And I just want to also call out my colleague Matt, who has really changed this for us as well. And he came from a, a non-software background where there was
which is
physical
good.
products that you could see. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I think that the first time that he went to an IT event, he looked around, and I can remember his words. It's like, everybody looks the same. And so for that matter, yeah, how do you stand out at a booth? And I think there's things that you can do that will attract people. Like you said, we had the rally sim for several years.
Mhm.
And we're not in the business of selling rally sims, of course, but it is something that people can come and experience. They want to come to your booth, and that's a conversation starter. They can have a go on the rally sim, and then we'll have a conversation afterwards about what we do and so on. And the last one we did, we had a British pub, so, and we're going to be bringing that pub to Wiesbaden.
Yes. I'm totally looking forward to have a pint of good British ale with you. Yeah.
That would, yeah. I'm sorry to Germany bringing British ale to Germany when you've got such good British beer. Sorry, German beer. But we will do that.
The point is here to have
The
variety.
pint
I mean,
is here.
the pint is here. The point is here. Whatever we are going, is I can have German beer any day here.
True.
I can't have British ale there. So there's that,
Okay.
and they are both good. There's nothing wrong with one or with the other. That one. Eddie. So for you who know Eddie in person, you know that Eddie has been through this industry in all possible roles. I actually met Eddie for the first time. I had found that email in 2013 and or 14, when we were talking about uh, only per email, when you were still working for a workflow company in Poland. I forgot now the name.
That
And
was
you were
data police, most probably.
Datapolis. You were working for
Yes.
Datapolis back then, and
Oh
you were
gosh, I wrote
inquiring.
him.
You were inquiring for a for a sponsorship at European Collaboration Summit as Datapolis back then. That didn't happen, but this was the first time that I have found or read the name Edita Gorjon. Which is funny, because when we were starting this podcast, I was trying to find the point of our first written communication, and I found that email, and I was like, "Look at this."
Oh.
Those are some different times. And you were sponsor. You are event organizer for European Collaboration Summit, European Cloud Summit, but also for Collab Days Warsaw in Poland. And you are obviously working as a director of customer success for the event tech company. So I know that you have very unique perspective on all of this what we have been talking today. And your whole
Hopefully I do.
your whole comment is, or what?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you ask me about the most practical tip or something creative, or
Or
what you want to hear from
just
me?
just like after doing this for the past 10, 11, 12 years, uh, looking at all of this from all different perspective. And when you think about organizing exhibitors and sponsorships from the perspective of exhibitor, which you have in Datapolis, in WebCon, in Valo, in whatever, from the perspective of the event tech company like Run Events, from the perspective of the organizers, I'm sure your perspective here is very valuable. What's your just 2 sentences that you can say on the end about this?
Oh wow, that's two sentences. So
Okay, 3.
I'm happy that yeah, the solutions, right, like run events, they simplify communication from different angles, for organizers, for sponsors, for attendees, for speakers, for everybody, because you forgot that I'm also a speaker from time to time. And well, I'm happy that yeah, we're creating something new, and I'm happy that we're yeah, revolutioning this market in a way.
And thank you for being revolutioned it. Brett, your 2, 3, 4, or even 5 sentences for the end.
Yeah, I've seen run events from the initial concept to what it is now, and it's really grown as a product, and it's just amazing to see how you're innovating that product as well. From the sponsor's perspective, to be able to use a planner like that in 3D, to be able to visualize better what the sponsorship is going to look like, what you're going to get out of it, is just, yeah, really is an amazing tool. And yeah, I can't wait to use that as a sponsor. So.
Not this year, but I do promise you for the next year.
Okay, sounds great. I'll throw you a challenge, and that is to create the expo hall from the Bletchley Park event of Club Days.
Don't say
we'll see how that goes.
twice. Don't say it twice, because that venue is so cool that we might just invest into that. And I think that Jackie also wouldn't have anything against it. So 100%. Let's see what happens. Hey, thank you very much, all of you. Thank to all our audience here. I hope we weren't too boring, and we didn't look like 3 old people complaining about all sponsorships and
I don't feel
issues.
old.
he was talking about Anto. Clearly not you.
Don't forget that Anto is almost 29. Thanks everyone, and talk to you at our next webinar, which is going to we are going to make a short pause because both Eddie and me will be traveling heavily in the next few weeks. Both of us are going to be in the States for a couple of weeks, so the next one is going to be at the 24th of April. We are going to announce the topic and the next guest in time, but for now, at least you have got 1.5 months of pause from 2 of us, but we'll see you in end of April. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, Edita.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.